Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be replacing the PCV, which is the whole valve cover and the map sensor. Okay guys, so we're going to start off by removing this clamp right here. So we have the pliers here. Push back this hose clamp. We're going to remove the hose by wiggling back and forth. Okay, the hose is off. Then we're going to pull on the corners to pull the valve cover off its grommets. There's one here, one here, one here, and one back there. Okay. In my case, I don't have the screws for here, but typically you would remove the screws on both sides here. We're going to fix that today as well. So we remove the valve cover. Okay, now that we're here, what we want to do is go ahead and remove the clips on these coil packs. We did this in a previous video, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Watch the previous video in order to find out how to remove the coil packs. Okay guys, once you've unconnected your coils, you want to pull your coils up one at a time. Twist and pull up. Okay. Once your coils are all out, you want to go ahead and remove all the bolts around the perimeter here. I'm going to use an electric screwdriver to take them all out. When we return, this will be all off. Okay, so we took out we unscrewed all the bolts on the cover. You need to disconnect the PCV hose. On my case, mine was very brittle and it broke. So we're going to replace the part as well. Once you removed all the screws, then you could just lift the PCV. This is the PCV assembly, also the valve cover all together. It should come with the gasket. Now we have it off. Okay, so now we have the part here. You want to match up all the holes. The PCV system is always towards the front. I'm going to line it up here. I'm going to set her down. At this point, I don't use the power tool. I use the ratchet because I like to start the bolts by hand so I don't cross thread. So now we're going to go ahead and replace the mass sensor. We replaced the PCV system. What was causing the map sensor to fail was the PCV system was leaking oil into the intake. So now what we're going to start off by doing is removing the hose from the air box. I'm going to push the clamp back. Going to release the clamp here. We're going to push back. We're going to remove the hose. There is the secondary air pump underneath the hose. It's hard to show you here, but when I take off the hose, I will show it to you on camera. Right here, the secondary air hose is here. You want to pull it out. Once you pull it out, you can take this apart. We're going to work on removing these 4 bolts on the throttle body. This is what holds the throttle body in place. I believe these are T30s. Let's check and see if they're T30s. Yes, they're T30. Make sure you have your ratchet to loosen. Like to break them one by one, break them loose. The ones on the bottom, you're going to need an extension. hard to show this one's on the bottom because they're like hidden, so I'm feeling down there for the bolt. Okay, there we go. Again, the other bottom one's hard to see as well, so you kind of have to feel for it. Okay, there's one bolt right here. Another bolt here. Another bolt here, and then the very last one that's down there, hidden. Again, one thing I would recommend, if you already have the bolt down there, just finish taking it off all the way instead of looking for it twice like I am doing here. Okay, now we're going to remove the throttle body here. Going to remove the throttle body here. We want to disconnect the connector going to the throttle body because we can't get a lot of space there. So there are some clips down here. It's hard to show because, again, kind of have to feel for them. Okay, again, there's a connector here you want to pull off. Once you pull that connector off, then I would suggest removing the 4 bolts around the throttle body. Now that the throttle body is out of the way, so this is the sensor we're trying to remove. We want to start off by removing the sensor by pushing the connector up and then depressing the button. Okay, the connector is off. Now you want to get yourself a I believe it's a T25. So let's get a T25 here. So it's actually a T20. Gonna get in there, try to remove it. Want to be careful because don't want to remove it all the way because there's a harness right next to it. So you want to pull the screw off carefully. Now that you have the screw out, pull the sensor out. So you want to wiggle back and forth, and then the sensor comes out. So as you can see, the sensor is wet. So the sensor being wet is what caused the damage. The sensor was taking in oil, and that's what essentially shorted out the sensor. Okay, so now we're going to install the new sensor. I want to pull the sensor behind this harness, push it in. There's a little gasket there. You want to make sure it seats perfect. Okay, now we're going to get our little tiny bolt. You want to start it by hand. I'm going to try to remove the harness out of the way a little bit, but it seems like it's not going to work here. So we're going to have to work with the harness here. Okay. Be very careful, because you kind of only want to do this once, and you don't want to lose this bolt because it's really tiny. You don't have to tighten it all the way tight because it's going into plastic. So just snug. Okay. Once you have that, you'll go ahead and connect the connector for the sensor back up. Make sure you hear the click. Okay, mine's clicked. Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna work on putting the throttle body back. My throttle body is not that dirty, but I'm gonna clean the gasket around here because there's some oil residue. As you can see, my throttle bottle is kind of dirty. We're gonna clean that up, and we're also gonna try to clean up the residue of oil that's on the throttle body. So got some brake clean here. Okay, now that the throttle body is clean, we're going to go back to reinstalling. Okay, now that we've connected put our bolts back in our throttle body, we're going to go ahead and replace our PCV hose. Okay, so there's a couple of places that this hose connects to. There's a grommet here. So first the hose connects down here. So you want to push till you hear the click. Then there's a Christmas tree. There's a Christmas tree clip, but we're gonna connect to the top first. So we'll click up here first till you hear the click, and then the Christmas tree fastener clicks next till you hear that click. Okay, it's almost there. Come on, baby. It's almost there. Come on. There. Clicked. Put this guy back on. The oil filter cap back on. Okay. Perfect. Now we're going to work on putting back our coils. One by one. Push them down. Alright, now that your coils are all pushed down into the spark plug holes, now you're going to go ahead and connect your connectors for the coils. So you're going to push in, start from the furthest away from the belts or closest to the oil fill cap. Got to hear that click. Okay, there's that one click. Some of these have these very faint clicks, so just be aware of that. There it is. One click. The other click. Other click. The other click. Okay, perfect. Put this gasket back. Okay. Perfect. All right, now that you've buttoned everything back up, you're gonna just go ahead and put the air box filter back on, and that will conclude the video for replacing your valve cover and the map sensor on your 2.5 liter Volkswagen Jetta. Thank you.